What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm gonna give you a little disclaimer in advance. This isn't really a fitness video. This isn't really a nutrition video as much as this is a mindset video, right? I had some events happen to me yesterday that really put a lot of things into perspective, and I felt like I wanted to share this with you. I get these urges sometimes where something tells me like, hey, you just need to grab this camera and talk because you have a lot in you, and YouTube is my best outlet. You guys are here for me day to day. You guys are some of my closest friends. You guys watch my videos, you guys support me, and sometimes I feel like I owe it to you and also a little bit to myself, because this is almost therapy in a sense, to just kind of let it all out. So let me just start off by telling you guys, yesterday was not one of the best days I've ever had. I don't like to say any day in particular is a bad day, because there's really no such thing as a bad day, only your mindset, your perception about the events of that day, right? But I will say that yesterday I didn't have the best luck. I would say it was a bad luck day. How about that? So starting things off, guys, let me just give you a little lead up to why my day wasn't the best. So the day started off, I woke up a little later than normal, had a lot of work to do. You guys know I just got back from vacation and I'm still trying to, I filmed content yesterday. You watched that video. So I was filming content, trying to catch up with clients and get everything situated, getting apparel orders sorted out. And I'm just kind of playing catch up, and it's one of those things when you own your own business and you do things for yourself, right? Ultimately, your success is determined by how much work you're willing to put in. With having your own thing, like, my clients aren't going to accept it if I wake up in the morning and decide not to do stuff, right? So getting back from vacation, playing catch up and everything, it's been a little stressful, but I had some people hit me up and they said, hey, we're going to go to see this concert, right? And if you want to come, you can come. And they plan on drinking and stuff, and I'm not a big drinker, you guys know that. So I said, hey, you know what? I'm cool with that. I haven't been out in a while. I think it's a good way to spend my weekend, and I can DD. I can take care of you guys, no problem. Starting off, right, they arrive and we get ready to head up, and the first thing that happens, if you guys watch any of my vlogs and you've seen me walk in and out of my house before, I know that's a little, if you paid attention that far, you've seen I have this little keypad lock thing, right? I think we paid like $200 for it. It's a keyless entry, like beep, 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 lets me into my house, super convenient, super easy. Well, I'm checking it to make sure my house is locked, and boom, the entire thing ripped off my door frame. So just, it rips off. So basically, my door was left in such that you had to push it and it would just open up. So basically my entire house was just on limits if anybody wanted to come in and steal anything. That's how my night started, right? So I'm leaving my house, and we had to be up there at a certain time, so I had no time to do anything about it. My door just falls apart and I'm like, okay, awesome start. So anyways, I'm like, whatever, we're just gonna not let this bother us, not stress us out, and if you guys have ever been broken into and been robbed, it's one of the worst feelings in the world. And if you haven't yet, I'm gonna tell you that if it ever does happen, just be prepared to just have it totally freak you out. I was broken into 2 times in my life. Once when I lived in an apartment and they got me for almost everything. And the second time was actually when I was asleep in this house upstairs. Someone broke in through a window, and luckily I think I was still awake, or they scared themselves. Maybe they seen all the supplements in here and they're like, oh, I need to get out of here. But they only got away with a couple minor things. But you feel super violated and you don't know who you can trust when that happens. So I don't mean to go off on that tangent, but needless to say, that knowing someone could just push into my house had me stressed out. So regardless with that, we move on, we drive up to this concert. We get there, and so I am not a country boy, right? I live in Ohio, but I'm not a country boy by any stretch of the word. And if you understand, and if you know me well enough, I listen to mainly like rap music, right? So we go to this bar, and it's a bar / venue where they're playing this concert at, and it's a country concert. People were super awesome, by the way. Shout out Jacob Lonis. That was the guy that performed. Incredible, phenomenal. It was amazing, right? I don't listen to that type of music, but even I was tapping my foot a little bit. But we show up, and it was mainly just all, how do I even say it? Just country people, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And I actually knew some of them, I was friends with some of them, but it's just not really my atmosphere, right? So I'm just kind of standing there. The girls were with her having an amazing time. They're drinking, they're dancing, they're having a lot of fun. But basically I'm just sitting there drinking like Diet Pepsi, just kind of listening to music, whatever. And I'm kind of stressed about my house, wondering if anybody's breaking in, if anything's happening, whatever. And, not really fitting in too well. I mean, I'm the type of guy, I can talk to anybody. I can be friends with anybody. No matter who you are, we can find common ground somewhere, and I can strike a conversation up with you. I'm never not going to talk to somebody for any type of reason, right? If you show me respect, I will show you respect, and we can be friends, we can talk, we can do the whole 9 yards. Once everybody starts getting really drunk, and that's when that becomes a little harder, because I don't know if you've ever been the sober one around a bunch of intoxicated people, but boy, let me tell you, you can't really have legitimate conversation. It always boils down to lots of hugs, not really good conversation, mainly just when you're sober, it just kind of almost becomes annoying in a sense. If you've been in that situation, comment below right now. It's not a fun situation. So it's about 1 a.m. when we decide to leave, and I'm tired and I'm exhausted. I got Luke with me. He's pretty tired too. We both just kind of want to go home, lay down, and go to sleep. And The people we're with are fairly intoxicated. I'm not gonna name any names, but they had a wrestling match in the driveway of the place or the parking lot or whatever, and it was funny. So we're driving back, and it just so happens there's multiple roads closed. So the way we would normally take back doesn't work. I don't really know where I'm going. We have Luke showing me the GPS. We're trying to figure this out. So it takes us like an hour to get home. So we're driving, and I'm just getting more tired, and I don't stay up that late that often. Everything's going good, and I had a thought in my head about something my dad always told me. My dad always said, Remington, nothing good ever happens after 11 o'clock at night. And I remember just thinking that in my head, and I'm all tired and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. And I don't know why that thought came into my head. But we're driving. Next thing you know, out of nowhere, boom, something hits the side of my car. Boom, and it scares the crap out of everybody in the car. I don't see anything. I literally have no idea what happened. All I know is that I look to my left side of my car, my mirror is dangling off my car. If you follow me on Snapchat, Remington_James, you can see the damage. So being in Ohio, some of you might not have to deal with this, right? But in Ohio, Appalachia, part of the country, there are deer that are migrating all the time. So you're driving, especially late at night, deer are always crossing the roads. There's always signs saying watch out for deer. And I typically have good eyesight. I can see deer from a distance, and I know to slow down and what to do in that situation. This deer, I did not see at all. No one's seen it. And I didn't hit the deer. The deer literally must have been jumping across the road and hit the side of my car. So now, I don't know if you guys have seen my car, but it's a fairly nice car, I like to say. For me at least, it's a fairly nice car, and I spent a lot of my hard-earned money on it. I worked really hard. I'm super proud of my vehicle, and boom, to just have it crinkled up like that, and just in the blink of an eye it happened. So to recap, my house is wide open for whoever wants to come in. My door thing sheared off. I just spent all night at a concert with a bunch of intoxicated people. Not that I didn't have fun. I did have fun. It's just, my ideal night would have probably ended at 11. And then on the way home, if you have friends, don't ever let them drink and drive. So we ended up splitting up. I let Luke take their car back to their house. I drove and followed Luke over, picked him up, and we took them back. You'd never let people drink and drive, guys. That is a terrible decision. And if it's someone that you really call your friend, you will not let them drink and drive. So quick little disclaimer there. I know I'm rambling, guys. I apologize. So at this point, we turn around to see if what happened, and there's a car backed up, and they're like honking their horn at us, telling us not to come, and there's like a deer that's like hopping around in the road. He must have really hurt himself, him or her, hitting my car, but we didn't even really get a clear view of it. So I pull over, I try to look at my car. All I can see is my mirror dangling. My car's black and it's night. I can't really see the damage. We get back to my house, and the entire back left side of my car is completely crinkled up, damaged, bruised, dented, all that stuff. So at this point, I am just kind of sitting there. I start to feel like a little bit of anger. I start to feel a little bit of resentment. I start to feel this stuff start to like bubble up, right? This is kind of where the lesson I'm trying to teach you guys comes into play. I could choose to let the fact that my car got hit ruin my day, ruin my next few days, ruin my next week, ruin my next month. If I chose to let that affect me negatively like that. I could choose to let the fact that my door handle sheared off have ruined my entire night, ruined my next day, ruined whatever, knowing I have to go put $200 into a new lock system. I could choose to let that ruin my day. But here's the thing. As soon as you start letting stuff like that defeat you, you invite that negative energy into your life, and that's when things start to tend to take a downward spiral, right? My mindset about this, and my mindset with all things that happen, all bad things, is that there's no mistakes, there's only lessons. And everything that happens to you happened for a very specific reason, and you have to learn the lessons from these things. I can sit there and I can say, woe is me, I have bad luck, my car, and in turn I'm not gonna do anything today, or in turn I'm gonna get really mad and take my frustrations out on other people. And it's easy to let that stuff affect you. It's easy to let that negative energy seep in, right? The key is that no matter what, that deer hitting me was completely out of my control. There's nothing I could have done about that. So stressing about it and stressing about the what ifs and, well, what if I didn't go? Well, what if I would have seen the deer? What if? All of that is out of my control. Everything that happens to you in your life is out of your control. And I don't know, your beliefs might be a little different than mine, but I believe everything that's happening is happening the way it should. Everything that happens in this life, it's already a story that's been written for you, and you're just acting it out. You can choose to try to fight that and let it consume you and dominate you in a negative manner, or you can choose to go, you know what? There's nothing I can do about that. That sucks. It's a bad situation. My luck today might not have been the best, but hey, We are going to make the most of it moving forward, and we're not gonna let this minor thing, right? On the grand scheme of things, think about it. This minor thing ruin potentially our good times moving forward for the next week, month, or whatever. And I have a firm rule, right? If you think about something, you gotta really think about it. If something bad happens, you take that thing. Is that thing, I call it the 5-year rule. Is this thing gonna matter in 5 years? If it's not gonna matter in 5 years, then it's not worth spending over 5 minutes of your time being stressed out about it. That is what I'm trying to instill on you guys, right? And I made a Snapchat today, and I'm smiling in it, I'm all happy, and I'm like, well, car got hit, whatever, it is what it is. I was kind of planning on buying a new one anyways, yada yada. People are like, wow, you seem really happy considering your car just got messed up. And I'm like, you know what? Like I said, there's nothing I can do about that. That is completely and utterly out of my control. And there's a lesson to learn from that. You know what that lesson probably is? Remington, don't go driving out at 1 in the morning on backcountry roads. That is probably the lesson I need to learn there. Even then, I could take it a step further and say, well, that happened, so I could make this video. And potentially someone will watch this, and if they have something bothering them, and they have something that is eating at them and stressing them out, they can understand that in the grand scheme of things, in the big picture, it really doesn't matter. You gotta think about all your problems, right? Take all your problems and lay them out in front of you. Make a list, write all your problems down, and then think about it and go, you know what? There's people out there that wake up and they aren't even able to see, right? There's people that wake up and they don't have any feeling, and they can't feel and they can't touch. There's people that wake up, they are not even able to go out and do what I love to do. They're not able to go lift weights. They're not able to go pursue their dreams. There's people out there that have it way worse than me or you will ever have it. So standing back and acting like your problems are up here, when in reality, some other people, you can't even fathom what they're going through. And that's the mindset I try to adapt. I try to instill that upon people because we are all so blessed. The fact that we can wake up and pursue our dreams, and the world is out there for you to take. You can go have whatever you want as long as you're willing to work for it. And there's certain people that does not apply to. And there's certain people that live in parts of the world where there isn't even food available on the regular. There's not even clean, good sources of water available, right? So in our developed countries, and if you're watching this on a smartphone or something, you're probably better off than lots of other people out there. And we need to be thankful. So many people out here nowadays want to talk about how bad the world is, how screwed up the world is. But that to me is such a negative mindset. Really think about it. There's internet everywhere now. There's 4G everywhere. You can get on your phone and you can look up whatever. If there's something you don't know, you can Google it, you can look it up. I can call a friend hours away. I can video conference a friend hours away and talk to them. More diseases now have cures than ever before. The more people are able to follow their dreams and their passions and work for themselves than ever before in history, right? So to sit back and say the world's this messed up place and you have all these problems and woe is me, to me, that is a terrible mindset. And if you have that mindset, you need to really work on changing it, because letting the tiny things dictate your mood. And if you let those little things chip away at you, if I let my car chip away at me, I let the fact that my door thing came off chip away at me, then let's say tomorrow I stub my toe, that adds a little bit to it. If you don't accept this stuff, you don't move on from this stuff, eventually that pot boils over, and then you're just gonna take that rage out on somebody that doesn't deserve it. You're talking to that cashier at the store, you give her your attitude, right? And that negative energy rubs off on other people, and then at that point, all you're doing is spreading those bad vibes out there for everybody else. And the more bad energy you put out there, the more bad energy comes back to you. I truly believe if you put positive, good energy out into the world, it will reciprocate and come back to you. And I want to say that's part of the reason why with everything I've done, I have been able to be successful, is because even on my worst days, I still try to project that positive, that good energy. I try to help people, because at the end of the day, the more that I put out, it goes clear throughout the world, right? And eventually it comes back to me. And in turn, I reciprocate it even more. And that is the trend I'm trying to start. So, wow, that was a rant, guys. Wow. For those of you that made it this far, thank you for watching. I don't even really know what I just talked about. That was zoned out there for a second. Let me reel this back in. So, in summary, no problem, no matter how big or how small, is worth you stressing yourself out over and potentially creating negative energy that spreads out to other people. No problem is. Every problem can be solved, right? There's no such thing as an impossible problem. There's just a bad mindset about the attempt to solve that problem, right? What is a problem? A problem is something that there is an answer to. There's an answer to that problem. There's a way to solve that. There's an equation for it. You just have to figure out what that is. And today, with my little door handle, I went, bought a new one, installed it. And with my car, I'm going to call my insurance people tomorrow. They're gonna come look at it. We're gonna see what's going on, whatever it costs to fix it. I'll fix it, and then at that point, I'm probably gonna sell it and buy a new car. I'm planning on it anyways, and I'm just looking at it in the grand scheme of things, like, all that did was kind of further my agenda. I'm looking at all of this as a positive, guys. Like I said, there's no mistakes, there's only lessons. And I know some of you guys in life, you might feel like you've been dealt a bad hand. You might feel like you're in a position where you might have some things going on in your life that aren't quite ideal. You might have a bad living situation. You might have a bad job. You might not be happy. You might have just broke up with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. But you got to understand, these are all learning experiences. You can choose to let them take you down, or you can let them build you up. And from someone that has been through a lot, guys, I've been through a lot of stuff. I don't want to touch on it too much right here. If you follow me along, if you know, I've been depressed. I've had self-confidence issues. I've had all sorts of things happen. And not that I don't deal with those from time to time still, but for the most part, I'm the happiest, the best version of myself I've ever been. And a lot of that I will attribute to the way I choose to solve problems and handle problems and bad things that come up in my life. If anything, guys, work on that, I'm telling you, especially if you're young. If you're watching this and you're under the age of 18, develop this right now. If I had one wish I could go back and tell myself anything, it would be this information I'm telling you right now. So anyways, guys, I felt like I had to make this video after all the events that happened. If you watched this clear to the end, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. Thanks for hearing me out. I literally feel like I just got a massive weight lifted off my chest by just speaking about this, guys. It was bothering me. I wanted to grab the camera. I don't like to make videos that aren't Q&As where I just sit and talk, because I don't ever want to bore you guys and make you think I'm trying to make cheap cop-out content. But I really felt like this was valuable. So if you guys liked this video and you liked kind of this message, if you want me to do more of these, maybe, yeah, I know they're not really fitness, they're not really nutrition, but I know some of you out there have to get some value out of this. Some of you absolutely have to. So if you like this style of video, please comment below. Let me know. And if I need to start maybe having life talks like this, then I will. But as always, thank you guys for your support. And remember, there's no problem worth you stressing yourself out over. Find a solution, because no matter what, there's a solution to whatever is going on in your life. Don't forget, as always, to smile, remain positive, and pay someone a compliment, because you never know whose day you can be making better. With that, I'm out of here. This has been a Remington production, and I will see you guys at the next video. See you guys.